Are you a man dealing with anxiousness and depression when your disease, your illness strips away so much of you? You're left uncertain and your future plans become hazy and foggy. What then? My brother, today I'm sharing the Stoic lessons, life lessons I've learned from my journey. And remember, it starts with us training our bodies.
Hi, I'm Cloud.
And I have lung cancer. Feels strange saying this out loud. This channel is my way of defying this disease, a place to regroup and gather my strength. I'm gonna need you in my corner. Here we will thrive beyond cancer. Stay with me for the
I
next 10
truly
minutes,
pray that
and I'll show you
someday soon
exactly how
I can
Stoicism
run again.
keeps me moving forward, standing tall, and fighting. So, tonight we're talking about mental toughness and why resilience is the only option for a man with illness who is drowning in anxiousness and depression. These are the rules I use so fear does not rule my days and despair does not hollow out my identity. Here's a difficult truth: anxiety and depression in illness don't just come from pain or uncertainty, certainly not in my case. I think they come from misplaced control, from trying to command outcomes that were never ours to begin with. Stoic philosophy teaches this clearly. Suffering increases when a man demands certainty from a world that promises none. Disease exposes that illusion instantly. When scans, numbers, and the waiting take over your mind, you feel powerless. And powerlessness, unchecked, turns into anxiety. And then prolonged anxiety can and will turn into depression. Stoicism does not teach avoidance of this. Rather, it teaches reorientation. Let's talk about this. The first Stoic way: every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Look at it this way: Stoicism reframes adversity. Your difficulties, your challenges, they are a gymnasium for the soul. Cancer becomes the weight, illness becomes the resistance, suffering becomes the training ground. This is not motivational talk. This is discipline. When I stopped asking why this is happening to me, and I started asking, what strength is this demanding of me? What of me does it need? My mind changed, my posture. I am still a man, still a husband, still a father, still a son, still a leader. Manhood is not proven by health metrics. No, it is proven by response, and especially how you respond, how we respond when we are knocked down. When pain rises, I do not retreat into bitterness and fear. I train my patience. When fear and uncertainty knock, I do not collapse. I still my mind. I narrow my focus, rather. I train my courage. And when weakness shows up, I do not hide. I train with humility. This is Stoic resilience. I cannot choose the battle, but I can choose the man who stands in this battle. That's my control. The second Stoic way: I will not conquer. Second Stoic way: I will not compare my journey to anyone else's. In life, it's easy to always compare ourselves to how others are faring. When we see the others are doing better or worse than us, it is so easy to gauge how we stand and where we stand amongst our peers. But listen, comparison is the quiet assassin of a sick man's spirit. You scroll, you watch others heal faster, you see men getting better, lifting weights, working full days, living untouched by hospitals and IVs. Without realizing it, you begin sentencing yourself. Stoicism rejects this entirely. Your path is not theirs. Your pace is not their pace. Your burden is not their burden. The Stoic rule is simple, very simple. Comparison steals focus, and stolen focus weakens your resolve. I have stopped measuring my life against anyone else's highlight reel. Nowadays with social media, it is so easy to do that. I'll pray to that. I I measure it. I measure my life. I measure it against one standard only. Did I show up today with discipline and dignity? I think that is leadership. I think that is powerful. That is authority. That is manhood under pressure. Along the way, yes, always, I make mistakes. This is why I have this channel to begin with, to highlight where I have been wrong and where I continue to grow as a man. I went wrong when I started to believe that strength, my manhood, was silence. I believe that leadership meant never admitting fear. I believe being a strong husband and a great father meant shielding everyone from the truth, being less than honest. I was wrong. Here's the paradox Stoicism teaches: real strength is not emotional isolation. We've talked about this. It is emotional governance. I learned to name fear without letting it command me. I learned to admit weakness without surrendering authority. I have learned that transparency, when guided by discipline, builds trust instead of pity. Again, we've talked about this. No pity. And for me, I think this is a turning point in this journey. I have stopped fighting alone in my head. I have brought structure to chaos. I have brought philosophy to the fear. And in this structure, in this construct, this blueprint, I have found clarity. In that clarity, I have rediscovered my sense of purpose. And in that purpose, I have rebuilt my identity. Or let me put it this way, I continue to rebuild my identity, because this is an ongoing project. By no means this is done. Not as a patient, but as a man under trial. Brother, between you and me, we both know now that healing is not passive. Healing is not something that happens to us. Rather, it is practiced. So, how do we practice? 2 simple everyday things that you can do to promote your own healing and your own recovery, to recover the body and rebuild the mind. Each morning you wake up, for any news enter your mind, I ask, what is within my control today? I identify it. I say it out loud in my head, and I commit fully to that and release everything else that's not within my control. This alone reduces my anxiety more than any distraction ever could. And to end my day, at night, each night, I review one question. Did I act with courage, discipline, and restraint today? For I believe that progress is measured in character, not in outcomes. So, 2 simple tasks, one in the morning and one in the evening. This is how I fight to recover the body. This is how I rebuild the mind. And this is how I fortify my soul. Wherever you are, however you are doing, I pray you are standing, still choosing courage, still choosing discipline, still choosing to fight. If you find value in my blueprint for healing, recover the body, and rebuild the mind, subscribe and check my other videos. I'll see you soon. We continue this fight.